Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com here for my second match with my new Gruul Dragons deck, testing out Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Ragavan in the main deck. I've cut the Planeswalkers in favor of those two cards. We have some ramp into Fable with a little bit of interaction. Don't like to run out this Passagial on turn one, but I'm going to keep it anyway. See what we're up against, see if this Hierarch survives. If it does, then hopefully we're off to the races with these Fables. I'm having a really hard time with the Fable though so far, because in my first match, and both times I cast my first Fable, I had everything I wanted in my hand already. I didn't want to discard anything. I wasn't looking for anything. Yes, it puts two bodies on the battlefield eventually, and it would have snagged us game one had our opponent not had a Leyline Binding for one single mana to get rid of the backside of it. So it has shown its power, but the drawing or discarding drawing part has not yet shown its worth. I mean, granted, we can always pitch some mana dorks that we don't need late game, but this is it. I have a feeling we're losing our Hierarch right now. It looks like it is it? We'll see. Maybe they'll play a Ragavan instead. Nope. All right. So is it going to have main deck answers to a Fable, both in Counterspell and I think Spell Pierce. We'll see if they try to dash into Ragavan or something. Maybe they kept the one lander. Nope. So it looks like they're going to be holding up some counter magic, which, you know, whatever. We'll run out. Oh, another Field of Ruin. How nice. We'll run out this Fable and see if it baits out a counterspell, which it probably will. We have a second one though. So the thing about a deck running Fable with 5 drops as their end is that we are mana hungry, so we don't want to necessarily start pitching these lands had it resolve, because to find action, because we need the lands to cast the action. So there's some interesting tension there that I'm not sure I like, but like I said, this is only my second match with the deck. All right, yep. So this sets us up to get this Fable down and bolt their Dragon's Rage Channeler at least. So our third Field of Ruin, holy cow. Well, I guess that's something to pitch to the Fable. So maybe we'll see the discard draw part of Fable really come into play this game. Normally I would say don't, you want to save your bolt. I should have probably, well, whatever. They're going to connive, and because I could have waited for their turn, and maybe I should have, but then they can get the problem. The reason why I want to kill on my turn is because they get all this value out of surveilling from their Dragon's Rage Channeler with instant speed spells. So I could have waited till their untap step and risk the counter spell, or let them go off with other instants to surveil. So I think it's best just to go ahead and kill it now, even though it does give them another counter on their Ledger Shredder. All right, well, if there ever was a good Fable, I think this is going to be the time, because we can at least pitch a single land. Oh, expressive iteration, how nice. I haven't missed playing Is It Murktide. I've actually completed a few friendly leagues now without running into it. Well, I played Is It Murktide the very first match in my first friendly league with my Budget Rules Dragon deck, and then I didn't play it again for 9 more matches through 2 leagues, so it feels like it's been a while. Obviously, it's one of the more powerful and popular decks, so you're going to end up running up against it. And all right, they're going to get rid of my Shaman. You're going to run up against it in any sort of league. Grow their Ledger Shredder. This guy's getting out of control. Yep. Bye-bye. There goes our little bit of ramp. It's up to now a 2/4 apparently. I thought of it, just kind of confused. It has a single +1/+1 counter on it. I think, doesn't Conniving let you put a counter on it and draw and discard? And I played a second spell, and my opponent played a second spell, so. All right, well, we will definitely, this is the time for it to shine, right here. Come on, Fable, draw me into a Glory Bringer. So we'll just get rid of both of these Fields of Ruin. There's our Questing Beast. They already have Delirium, so of course Unholy Heat, the bane of my existence, doesn't care. We drew another land too. Doesn't care about Questing Beast. Let's see if they have it though. I mean, let's see, how many have they cast already? They've cast one Unholy Heat, so, and one counterspell. So I'm assuming there's at least another one, another Unholy Heat coming our way. But I could be wrong. I could get lucky. We could get a hit in before they find it. The other thing about Questing Beast is it's a bit of a nombo with the backside of Fable, right? It has to token of another target non-legendary creature. So we can't duplicate our Questing Beast, unfortunately. Here comes a double lightning bolt, or I'm sure something. I mean, Izzet always has two answers in my experience. I've said that many, many times. Here comes the expressive iteration. Oh, another Ledger Shredder. Okay. I guess that could be worse, unless they kill our Questing Beast, at which point. Yep. Unholy Heat. The bane of my existence. A 1-mana spell that kills a Primeval Titan. I don't know what's worse, Unholy Heat or Leyline Binding in today's modern. Both are played in decks I guess you can consider mid-range decks, but both feel like they just have pushed through mid-range right out of the format. Okay, well, we really need a Glory Bringer would be our best draw. Get rid of one of these Ledger Shredders and start punching in for some more damage, and we can duplicate it the next turn for lethal. Or just, it's not a Kiora that untaps the Glory Bringer, but it can make a copy of the Glory Bringer. And then we can use the copy to exert again if we need to. Glory Bringer. Ragavan. Sad Ragavan. Another legendary creature we can't copy with Reflections of Kiki-Jiki. Another creature that can die to a Lightning Bolt or Unholy Heat. Do they have the, oh man, that card from Lord of the Rings, I'm blanking on the name of it. Just go ahead and run out our last card, just in case. I mean, we're mana hungry. We could save it for a card to discard, but we also want to be able to monster so Storm Breath, should it ever get to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So we could go Storm Breath into land and hit them to 6 monstrous and try to finish them off. I mean, there's so much that has to go right and not go wrong, so I'm not saying that's very likely, but that's one of our outs. And I've learned to not hold lands if possible. Could have held a land at least one turn there, I imagine. In case we did hit the Fable and not a land, then we could keep the land and see what we drew the next turn. So we could play Young Pyromancer in place of, or Seasoned Pyromancer in place of Fable with the Mirror Breaker to give us bodies on the battlefield, other than the token and this Reflections of Kiki-Jiki. I think in some spots and in some matchups, Seasoned Pyromancer is better. There's more upside. I think we're just dead at this point. So they're going to unholy heat, swing in for 3, 7, and then we're dead. It must be, even then, I think we're dead no matter what at this point. I mean, I guess we can do, they'll float the mana. It's all instant speed. Just buys them a 3rd mana at this point. So I'll just have 6. Now, would my original build of Gruul Dragons fare much better against Izzet? Like I think I've said before, I don't think I've ever won a match against Izzet with the deck. And I'm not sure. I think we're just dead now to Flyers. I'm not sure we would have had a draw that would have beaten what our opponent's up to here on turn 6 with unholy heats and expressive iterations. It's possible. And then against the Rhinos, yeah, Rhinos is tough. So, well, there we go. You know, you don't play Dragons and expect to take down the tier 1 decks on a regular basis. So we bring in Tormod's Crypt. I mean, we do have a game plan. We can bring in Tormod's Crypt. We can bring in Veils this summer. What do we haven't seen a single questing Druid or Bone Crusher Giant. We've seen a lot of Fables of the Mirror Breaker, though. I mean, the Questing Druid is a nice way to get out of it. I think we cut that in favor of the Veil this summer. Tormod's Crypt protects our. I think we just we're on the play, but I think we're going to get rid of Ragavan because it just dies. And maybe get rid of a single Fable. So Tormod's Crypt shuts down their Murktides and their Delirium and that enchantment through whatever it's called. And then Veil of Summer helps protect our spells as well from getting countered at least. It does not protect from all the burn. Let's give it a shot like that. Can we get a game? We'll see. Tormod's Crypt is good. We have a little bit of ramp and we have some protection. Awkward that we don't. This Field of Ruin, man. We've seen 2 Storm Breaths. Holy moly! And Veil of Summer doesn't keep our Hierarch alive. I mean, we'll keep it and just hope to draw well. I mean, even if this Hierarch lives, I'm not sure we're going to. I'm not sure when. Maybe we don't run it out on turn 1 because we need to hit our lands. Our best turn 3 play is a Fable and a Mirror Breaker, and I'm not even sure we want to play that on turn 3 at this point. Our best turn 2 play, or 3 mana play, is a Fable and a Mirror Breaker. And they'll probably just kill it. We could have saved that, but they have counter magic, so we could run out the Noble Hierarch and have Field of Ruin to fetch up a 2nd green source. I don't know. The way they're going to kill us with red spells, so I don't think keeping Veil of Summer to keep it alive is going to work because it doesn't let us stop the red spells. So we'll save these Veils of Summer to protect our dragons from counter magic. If our opponent lets it live, they're going to be very happy because they're going to be like, yay, they didn't punish me on the turn 2, 3 mana play. We'll probably draw another dragon. That's how I feel like the luck runs. We won't hit the land, we'll hit the dragon. Little does our opponent know that we really just want the lands or spell, like 3 mana spells. We don't want any action yet. A land is good. Now we will take that a questing beast or something into a. All right, well, I mean, we hit that was one of our better draws. Yeah, Thundering Falls, the new Surveil land seen playing Modern with the decks that care about graveyards. There's an Unholy Heat. So again, a questing beast would be great. Really just another land. That's also pretty good. All right, well, we're getting closer. Very slowly cobbling together a Noble Hierarch into Storm Breath. We drew 2 lands, which we like, but it would have been nice to hit a questing beast then a land so that we could have played on curve a little bit. We have an opportunity here with the shields down for our opponent to get in with the questing beast, but maybe it's better just to go ahead and with the Veil of Summer up. I don't know, I keep forgetting Veil of Summer. I think of it as like, oh, it's nerfs kill spells. It only nerfs the black kill spells. But it will allow us, if we draw the questing beast next turn, to cast it and keep it from getting countered. Ooh, splashing for green. See what that splash is for. Lightning bolt. All right, well, there goes that plan. Sure. So what? I mean, right now they have 3 card types and 4 cards. They're 1 card away from getting a Murktide. So we're going to go ahead and take out the graveyard. Yeah, that's basically our worst draw. I mean, literally, basically, I mean, it's nice for the future, like if they do stick a Ragavan or a Dragon's Rage Channeler, but on the current board state, that is essentially our worst draw. We wanted to either hit a land to set up for Storm Breath next turn, or we wanted to hit a Questing Beast. I don't think Questing Beast would have resolved, though. So the question is, depending on if they tap out, do we play this Veil of Summer just to draw a card? Lightning Bolt that. So land. All right. It looks like they're going to have counter magic, so we can run out this Storm Breath into a counter spell. We could wait another turn and hope to draw another land since we have this Veil of Summer. Just play it patient and slow. I mean, it pains me to do this. We do have a lot of live draws that are not Storm Breaths or not Dragons. And maybe our opponent will tap down. Doesn't look like it. They hit their 4th land. They can cast a really sad Murktide. Ledger Shredder. So we want to hit the land. See if we can get lucky and make a land drop into Storm Breath. All right, well, there's a land, so our patience is going to pay off. Cast our Storm Breath with Veil of Summer backup. And they're going to shock to do it. Nice. See if they don't have a Force of Negation. So now we would like to maybe Tormod's Crypt into a land so that we can make sure to shut down any sort of unholy heat shenanigans. So Tormod's Crypt now off the Veil of Summer into a there's a Stern Scolding. That was what I was thinking about. And I thought they might counter Ragavan. And they have a Subtlety. Man. And just all the answers. Like I said, is it Murktide doesn't usually have one answer. They usually have two. So they have the Counterspell. We had the Veil of Summer. Then they have the Free Evoke Elemental for Subtlety. Put it on top. Draw it. They now have Delirium, so their Unholy Heat that's in their hand or they're about to draw is live to kill our Storm Breath. I will say it gets pretty frustrating playing against some of these decks that seem to be always full of the answers. And I mean, it's not like we're playing commonly played modern cards, and yet Unholy Heat lines up so well with everything we're doing. They have they have their storm, they have their counter magic now for their last card in hand, which is surely going to be a counter spell. Because that's the way it all is. I mean, they drew into either they drew into the Ledger Shredder or they drew into the counter spell. Maybe they don't have it. It's possible. It's unlikely. It's either Unholy Heat or counter spell is that's how I would see it. Resolves. When will it die? Here comes the Unholy Heat. Yep. And that's why we played the Tormod's Crypt. Now they're down to no cards in hand. We're taking 6, so we're down to a 2-turn clock. I'm sure they'll draw something good. Oh, just the perfect top deck. So it's easy to sound salty or to be salty about this, and I am, because look at the way our opponents ran. They've hit all their land drops. They had the Trailer we killed. They pitched some Underworld Breaches, Subtlety, Counterspell, Ledger Shredder they must have pitched, Unholy Heat. And then they're still top decking. They had a Ledger Shredder or Unholy Heat was in their hand, and they top decked the other one, and then they follow that up with an Expressive Iteration. So, I mean, the deck is tier 1. It has a lot of ways to filter draws, but sometimes they also just run super hot. But I don't know. Maybe it's that good. Maybe it's just that good of a deck. Maybe I'll try it out one of these days. I do have the cards for it. I don't think I have Ledger Shredder, but I have the cards for most of the cards already. But man, it's just, super frustrating to play against the deck when they're hitting on all cylinders like this. I mean, we've had a pretty decent hand. We've done okay. We just can't keep up with the efficiency. You can't keep up with the multiple answers. Counterspell and a Subtlety, pitching something, right? They actually had to pitch something. This is their exile pile. So they managed to so this is also this is what we exiled from the Tormod's Crypt. So let's just take a quick look because we have time. This has been our opponent's, we're on turn 8. This has been our opponent's hand. Meanwhile, our hand has been that. And yes, some of it is playing dragons. You need to make land drops. You play some cards that enable your dragons, which 5-mana cards that attack for 4 hasty are great and can win games, but look at the efficiency. The 1-mana spells, the 2-mana spells, the free spells, the expressive iterations, the dig for more. I mean, it's just, they've hit on literally all cylinders in the way the deck is built and the way everything's so undercosted. Yeah, it just seems like they run hot every time I play against them, even though I know that that's not always true. But yeah, it's tough, a little frustrating. But for now, this is Johnny Cycles. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could have monstrous. It wouldn't have mattered. Now, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com. I'll catch you on the next one. This is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, and this has been another edition of Dragons in Modern.
Be sure to go to my site and check out all of my original Magic the Gathering content, where I post articles and video of my janky modern brews in my commander decks. I'm also publishing a couple chapters every month for my science fiction fantasy novel called The Pod Kind. Check me out on YouTube as well. Click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next one.